Pokemon Company has announced that it is finally shutting down Pokemon Bank on February 26, 2027. If you guys don't recall, Pokemon Bank was a 3DS service that launched with Poke Transporter, which was essentially the precursor to Pokemon Home, which gave users the ability to transfer their existing Pokemon all the way through the current era of Pokemon games. When 3DS online services shut down, Game Freak still let Pokemon Bank available to use for free of charge for several years, and unfortunately, as of today, Pokemon Bank will end service on Thursday, February 25th, 2027. As a result, transferring Pokemon from Pokemon Bank to Home will also no longer be possible. If you have Pokemon stored in Pokemon Bank that you wish to carry over, please move them to Pokemon Home prior to Pokemon Bank's end of service. Unfortunately, I knew this day was coming, especially ever since Pokemon Company made this program free of charge after the 3DS eShop end of service, especially when most, if not all, Pokemon are available on Switch, that at one point, end of service was gonna happen. And it seems that after 13 years of operation, Pokemon Bank is gonna be closing down. This really sucks. Put it simply, this just sucks. The whole pitch of Pokemon Bank and Poke Transfer is like, oh yeah, Poke Transfer, you can carry your Pokemon Red, Blue, Gold, and Silver games to Sun and Moon. And then with the when Pokemon Home first launched, you can transfer your Bank Pokemon from 3DS to Switch, which was pretty awesome. I used it quite a bit of times when 3DS was still, operational and getting my 3DS era Pokemon over. In fact, this was how I finished a large chunk of my living decks in Home, actually. I used Pokemon Bank to transfer a lot of Kalos Pokemon, a lot of Alolan Pokemon that weren't yet available on Switch. Now, this is to say that, hey, can you capture all your Pokemon? Can you complete the national decks on Pokemon Home? For the most part, yeah, I think it literally is just one Pokemon that's kind of missing in the Switch era of the living decks. Funnily enough, I think it's Spinda. I think every mythical, every legendary, every other Pokemon exists, but Spinda. For some reason, I think it's like a coding bug in BDSP or whatever, which doesn't surprise me in the slightest. But yeah, no, I mean, this just sucks. I don't know what else to say. If you guys do have any existing Pokemon that you haven't yet transferred over, do it now. You guys had 13 years to do it. Better late than never. Do it now. Especially if you have a 3DS lying around, if you have Pokemon from a GBA you have, a Pokemon from Black and White you have. Use this chance now to transfer and migrate your Pokemon over to the current gen of consoles. I'm not sure if there's going to be any fan versions, fan alternatives that will exist. That's something the community will need to really figure out. I'm not sure if Pretendo's gonna work, because remember, the whole thing that we gotta figure out is the connectivity between Bank and Home. And if Bank shuts down, I don't know what else you can really do there. That's not all the news that came out today. It's not all atrocious news. FireRed and LeafGreen compatibility release day announced is gonna be in October 2026. If you transfer a Pokemon from Fire and LeafGreen to Home, you'll get a free Celebi. Why is it not shiny? I don't know. But you'll get a Celebi coming from those games, it seems. It has a GBA mark. There's a reminder that, hey, if you get FireRed or LeafGreen on Switch, it comes with all the content, all of the event content included. So once you beat the game is not over yet. You can get Deoxys, Ho-Oh, and Lugia as well. You can shine for them as well, which is pretty cool. And it seems that there's more Pokemon news. They finally fixed that weird Safari Ball glitch in Go, where you can't transfer Safari Pokemon into Home. Now that's fixed. And yeah, there's the Pokemon Bank end of service, February 25th, 2027. That is unfortunate. There is going to be quite a bit of shiny hunts that will be lost once this does happen. First one that comes to mind is the Mew 8F glitch in Pokemon Red, where you can get a shiny Mew in the original Pokemon Red and transfer it over to the Switch era. That's one of the hunts I did a few years ago, actually. I love that shiny hunt. One shiny hunt that I will need to do, actually, before this happens is the Pokemon, I believe, Crystal Celebi shiny hunt, where you can shiny hunt Celebi through an event. And that's a shiny hunt I really want to do, and I really got to get that done before this shutdown happens. But I think that's mostly it in terms of like lost to time shiny hunts. Of course, there's Black and White, but I don't know what's gonna happen in Black and White, to be honest. I don't know what's gonna happen to that. And in terms of living decks, I'm pretty sure Spinda is the only Pokemon that's left that's yet to be caught. And speaking of Spinda, kind of lines up because there was rumors that Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald is coming to the Nintendo Switch around September and October, which, I mean, kind of lines up with today's announcement. So, on one hand, yeah, I'm happy that more ports are coming to the current era consoles. I believe that's just a net good, right? Having people more opportunities to play these games is always great. I kind of wish that it was faster, especially if they're gonna shut down Pokemon Bank. Granted, not everyone used Pokemon Bank. It is stuck on 3DS. Most people have, a large majority of Pokemon owners now have a Switch, but eliminating this still sucks, right? It doesn't really negate that. I just kind of wish they just picked up the pace, to be honest. Having Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald on Switch would be awesome. Especially losing Black and White, man. Black, I feel like that's the one that hurts the most. Johto and Unova kind of hurts the most because you just can't play them anywhere else, you know? Also, Mew AF. We're losing Mew AF, which kind of sucks as well. But I don't think we're even gonna see red, blue, and green on NSO. I don't think Pokemon Company really has any intentions of putting the mainline games on NSO. And they kind of view FireRed and LeafGreen as like the definitive versions of Gen 1. And as well, you already have Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. So like, there's not really a point of adding original Red and Blue. So losing that will suck. It's just, where's Johto, man? Where's Johto Unova? Those are like the ones that are like, damn, losing those really suck. I mean, that's the news today. I mean, on some slight positive silver lining, if you use Pokemon Home and like pay for it, you're gonna get 3,000 more box space for free. That's cool. I was kind of concerned on box space. That's cool. That's a nice silver lining. For me, I'm not really losing too much. I already transferred all of my Pokemon over like 7 years ago, so it's not really that big of a deal for me. It's just the fact that we're losing that bridge. That's like, damn, that sucks. Like, I wouldn't feel this bummed about it if we already had, you know, modern ports for all these titles, but we don't. It's really just FireRed, LeafGreen, and the rumored Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. No hints on Unova, no hints on Johto. DS, 3DS is up in the air, right? That's just how it is. I think both Nintendo and Game Freak need to pick up the slack when it comes to like, hey, we gotta move on with these DS games. You gotta figure it out because 14 years of operation of Pokemon Bank, well, it's shutting down, you know? You hate to see it. You hate to see it. All right, y'all. That's it today. Hope you have a little bit of the rest of your day. This sucks. Have yourselves a damn good one. I'm streaming in a couple hours. Lock in.